won her re-election by a landslide last year. So what's Congresswoman Judy doing for her district? She's here live to let us know. And then what's really happening at boot camps for kids? The shocking videos of a local boot camp that has the country talking. All this next on a special edition of CCN Crown City News. Your news, your neighborhood, seconds away.
Pasadena Enterprise Zone, open for business.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for watching this special edition of CCN Crown City News. Your news, your neighborhood. You can tell it's Halloween because there have been some strange things going on here, but I'm in for Sanita Joshua Madison today. Two very important interviews for you. Kids being forced to drink water to the point of vomiting. A young boy screamed at by 4 adults while wearing a truck tie around his neck. By now, you've seen the videos that have one local boot camp under fire. Keith Gibbs may join us possibly by phone, but we will have a board member from his community boot camp on. Keith Gibbs is one of the owners of the boot camp, and he is one of his board members will be here to address the controversy. I'll get it out, I promise. But first, we start with Congresswoman Judy Chu. She won a landslide election in 2009 in a highly Latino district to become the first Chinese American elected to Congress. She's also running for the proposed 27th congressional district, and she joins us now live. Thanks so much for being here, Congresswoman. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me here.
Sure thing. I want to get to a number of topics, so we've kind of extended the newscast a little bit because we want to give you time to talk about all these things going on that are affecting us here in the San Gabriel Valley. First, the redistricting that is going on. What do you think about it all? I think there's some controversy. There's, I believe, a lawsuit by the Republicans because they think that the redistricting statewide is unfair to them. What do you think about all that?
The lawsuit was actually determined by the California Supreme Court last week, and they voted 7-0 to throw the lawsuit out. So I believe that the lines are what they will be. And yes, I have a district now that goes from Monterey Park and Rosemead all the way up to Pasadena. I'm thrilled to have Pasadena, and I am getting very active in the area just to make sure that I get to know the residents here.
Has it's not actually been implemented yet, right? Or
the lines have been voted upon, and they very likely will be the lines that that will stay. In fact, I don't see any other challenge that could be possible to it.
Now, did it go to the state Supreme Court?
Yes.
Okay, so I guess the possibility exists that it could go higher?
No, that would be
that's it.
Yeah.
Okay, so it wouldn't make it up to the U.S. Supreme Court or anything?
Well, especially not with a 7-0 vote. It was unanimous, and it was a very quick turnaround for this decision. And the Redistricting Commission was very transparent. I mean, they had all their meetings public. Their minutes are online. So I think it's a defensible decision.
Do you think this will ultimately benefit Democrats and keep California pretty much Democratic?
Actually, the new lines allow us to pick up maybe between 2 to 5 seats. So it's, yeah, we could become even more Democratic.
Okay, all right. Let's move on to the economy. You know, we talk about the economy a lot here in our newscast. The unemployment rate in the San Gabriel Valley and Pasadena seem to be above the national average here. What are you doing, or what is the area doing that you support that's helping people to get back to work locally?
Well, jobs and the economy is my #1 focus. And I am concentrating on this tremendously. That's why I support President Obama's America Jobs Act. It would give a huge boost to us in terms of having $50 billion for infrastructure, for building our roads, our bridges, rebuilding our schools. But it would also provide for tax breaks for small businesses so that they could hire and give them a little relief in terms of payroll taxes. And locally, I'm doing all kinds of things. For instance, a jobs boot camp, to really give those who are looking for work a huge boost. I mean, it's not just a jobs fair. We call it a jobs boot camp to make sure that they got the help they need.
Don't say boot camp too loud around here these days.
Oh, yes, yeah, I know. I know.
And I don't mean to say that to be, flip about that at all, but you probably heard about that video.
I did, and that was terrible.
Yeah.
I just couldn't believe it. Nobody should be abused like that.
Now, I don't have confirmation on this, but I understand federal funding has possibly gone into the boot camps or boot camp in this area that's under investigation right now. So how would that affect, I mean, when you see it and you as the Congresswoman are saying that's just a terrible thing, how does that impact the boot camp if there's federal funds going into something that some people are looking at as abusive?
I would have to look to see if federal funds are indeed going into something like that. But there is proposed legislation to stop those kinds of abuses, and I'm signing up to be a co-sponsor of such legislation.
Now, is that coming out of the videos right now? I mean, after we see those videos nationally, is this the legislation that's being worked on in light of those videos, or is it something that's been going on for a little while?
It's been going on for a while, so these kinds of things have happened before, but it's really shocking to think that it would happen right here in Pasadena.
I wonder how you put regulations on that to fix something like that.
Well, issues of discipline, I think, are fair game in legislation, especially since this is a matter of treating the public in the way they should be and protecting people from bullying and abuse. And I think kids especially should be protected from bullying and abuse.
Yeah. Just watching that kid, and I'm hoping that we'll be able to at some point pull up the website that shows that video on the air. I'm hoping that we can work on that. But when you saw that video, you see a kid with a tire iron just being yelled at, and I have a 4-year-old, and of course he's not that age, but thinking of him possibly in a situation like that, makes my heart flutter a little bit to think about that. But then again, parents do put their kids in programs to get discipline and that kind of thing. So I don't know, that's overboard, you think, in your opinion? Or I don't want to put words in your mouth.
I think that there are ways of disciplining kids and of teaching them structure without having to abuse them.
And you felt that was abusive, what you saw?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. And back to the economy. President Obama is having a little bit of a tough time with getting his jobs bill passed, which you had referenced just a minute ago. And I believe now he's working to break it up into parts and trying to get it through that way. And some people have even talked about him just possibly bypassing Congress. We've seen some interviews and things like that about that. What do you think about him having to break it up? I mean, why is he having such difficulty getting it through?
Well, it should be a no-brainer. We know that far too many people are suffering right now. Far too many people are worried about whether they can put food on the table, whether they can pay their next mortgage bill. And we should be giving people the relief that they need. So it's important to pass this Jobs Act. But there's a split in Congress, and unfortunately, those that are in the majority of the House don't believe that there should be this kind of funding. I think that we should.
He had trouble in the Senate, though, too, right? Which is majority Democrat.
Well, that is true, but he did have 50 or so votes, and he actually did have the majority. It's just that he couldn't break cloture, which requires 60 votes.
The supermajority,
yes,
basically,
that's right.
To be able to.
Exactly.
And so you voted then with him to pass it in the House?
Well, the bill didn't come up for a vote because of the House being under the Republican majority. But
I see.
But I, of course, I fully expressed my support for the American Jobs Act. In fact, I was very happy to see that it was as bold as it was.
Now, I think people talk about just tax cuts, across the board, and that kind of thing would help small businesses grow. Rather than more government spending. I think it's the age-old argument that we hear over and over, do we spend more to get out of the recession, or do we cut taxes to get out of a recession and help get jobs and things like that? Where do you stand on that overall?
Well, this bill actually cuts taxes too. It actually provides for a payroll tax cut, so it gives temporary relief for those who are trying to get their small businesses afloat. And it actually provides tax cuts for middle-income families, about on the average $1,700 per family. So it provides that, plus it gives a boost to the economy by getting all this construction going. Basically what we need to do is put dollars into the hands of families so that they can spend, because all the small businesses are telling me that what they need are customers. Mm-hmm. So people need to be able to have the dollars to spend.
Okay. All right. Let's keep going. You know, the economy, we could probably talk about that in an entire hour show, you know, but let's keep going because we have you here. We'll talk about education locally and nationally. The education system is, you know, in a crisis mode. It really seems like. And Republicans, now you're the Democratic Congresswoman in our area. Republican lawmakers, some of them, and some of the candidates even are talking about getting rid of the Department of Education completely. What do you think about education in general, and what do you think about, you know, candidates and people on the other side of the aisle for you saying that we should just get rid of it?
Oh, for goodness sake, I just can't believe that they would even suggest that we get rid of the Department of Education, which is trying to fix the whole education system in this entire nation. It's a huge job, and we can't abandon it. But I feel that we should make huge progress in trying to revamp No Child Left Behind, which has served our schools very, very badly. It provides for this particular score that all students have to achieve, otherwise they will all fail. And if this indeed goes ahead, about 80% of the schools would fail. So there has to be a reform, and there has to be a revamping of No Child Left Behind.
So you would be in favor then of revamping it? I mean, even though it started under the Republican president previously, George Bush, you know, there's been a lot of criticism, I think, roundly on both sides of the aisle against No Child Left Behind. Why not get rid of it completely and start with something new? Why revamp No Child Left Behind?
Well, the change of it would be a revamping. So I don't think people are really saying get rid of the whole thing, because we have a certain kind of structure that was set up by it. But the one thing that we need to get rid of is the way that it said that you have to achieve this artificial goal, otherwise you're considered to be a failed school. It doesn't give any credit for schools that go from here to here, but may not be there. And so we need to give credit to those schools. We need to encourage them to continue achieving.
Got it. Man, time is almost gone. I can't believe it. I just want to keep going. But one of the major topics is immigration. You know, some of the states are trying to take matters into their own hands. And, you know, people wonder if some of that's going to come over here. Things like some of the bills, the bill that passed in Arizona, and then I believe it was Alabama, the other state that recently voted that in. What do you think about the states trying to enforce this on their own? Is that something they should even be trying to do?
I don't think they should be doing this. Immigration is a national matter, and it should be part of a cohesive national plan. I think that those particular states are going in the wrong direction, and in fact, they are already seeing problems with their workforce. People are very scared of being there.
Should they be sued? I mean, the federal government has been suing them. Is that something you agree with?
I think that the Department of Justice really needs to take a look at those laws to see whether they are invading people's rights. Okay.
One other thing, there's so much to talk about. One other thing is the 710 freeway, and that's something that's very local here. Where are you on that? Do you think it's going to happen? I mean, they're talking about putting a tunnel system through. Is that something you support?
Well, I would certainly like to see the results of the environmental impact report. That's the stage that we're at right now. And thank goodness everybody agreed that we should have this EIR, so it could look very carefully at the environmental considerations that there are. But yes, I really do hope that we can finish it in some way, and the tunnel version seems to be a very good possibility.
Okay, what do you have going on that people should know about? You talked about the jobs fair, right? Can you give us a little bit of information on that? I have to wrap it up.
Well, we did have the jobs fair, But actually what's coming up is a workshop on how to get to be a federal contractor. I really want to give small businesses a boost and let them know what possibilities there are out there.
When and where? Do you have that info, or can they go to your website?
They can go to my website. It's really easy to find me.
Oh, very good. Thank you so much for taking the time, Congresswoman. We love having you here, and I hope you'll come back again. It was a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we have a lot more in store for you today. Keith Sarge Gibbs, we were hoping to have him, but we'll have a board member from his boot camp to talk about the controversial tactics that has been making national news. And that is coming up when we come back. You're watching CCN Crown City News. Your news, your neighborhood. Don't go away. If your child is getting behind in school and needs help organizing, reading, writing, or studying, Klein's classes can help. Audrey Klein has been teaching for more than 20 years. Her book, Skills for Student Success, can teach your child essential learning tools. Klein's classes are affordable and conveniently available online. You can view the lessons and educational films anytime.
I've seen children jump 2 reading levels in 1 year. I've proven it over and over again.
Don't let another semester pass without getting your child some help. Visit kleinsclasses.com and get started today. Unleash your inner shark. Sharky Zartman's book, Shark Sense, reveals the 14 life-changing steps you can take today to start reaching your goals. Through her witty yet no-nonsense approach, Sharky Zartman unlocks the lessons we can all learn from sharks.
I use the shark as a symbol for your inner source of strength and power, the part of you that doesn't know the meaning of the word can't.
Stop settling for less and start living with confidence and purpose. Order Shark Sense today at sharksense.org and get in touch with your inner shark. By now, you may have seen the shocking videos that went viral nationally of a local boot camp for kids. The Pasadena Star-News obtained 2 videos of a Pasadena-based boot camp, which highlighted some of the conditions that the kids have gone through. Now, one video showed kids being forced to drink water to the point of vomiting. Another video showed 4 adults getting right up in a kid's face and yelling at him for several minutes while he wore a truck tire around his neck. The videos were taken about 2 years ago, from what we understand, and there are questions tonight about which Sarge's boot camp that was. Was it Calvin Sarge McFarland's boot camp? He was arrested in May on suspicion of kidnapping, child abuse, child endangerment, extortion, and unlawful use of a badge, and allegedly handcuffing a truant PUSD student. Or was it Keith Sarge Gibbs's Sarge's community-based Commit to Achieve boot camp? We've tried to reach McFarland, but have not heard back from him. We were going to have Keith Sarge Gibbs on to talk about his camp and to talk about the videos. He told me, I actually just got off the phone with him a little bit ago, and he told me he's had to take a job to try and make ends meet on Skid Row, and that there have been, I believe there was another death or something there that he had to handle. And so he asked a board member, Daniel Barth, of his boot camp to come and talk to us here live on CCN. And we appreciate Daniel coming on. Now, Daniel, I'm sorry, are you a board member or are you the board president?
No, I am on the board of directors. I am not the board president.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that. I wasn't sure. I'd like to find out from you what your thoughts were immediately when you heard about the videos coming out.
Well, my first thoughts were dismay for families and young people involved if in fact there were infractions of decorum or violations of the law, if that turns out to be the case. I'm not familiar with the specifics of the allegations or the specifics of the situation of that particular organization or their practices. Very soon after that, though, upon reflection, I am absolutely convinced that the spotlight being shown on this particular situation, and as a consequence of it, simply because of the relationship of the nickname Sarge, the spotlight being shown on our organization, people are going to find out about the excellent work that Keith Gibbs does, that Sarge's community base does and the service that we provide to families and to the young people in those families.
Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at the videos. And I want to give you a warning that it may be graphic for some of you watching out there, so just be prepared. And we're going to go to the website. This is on the Pasadena Star News website, and this is what we're seeing right now. Let's see if we can bring the sound up on that. Are we able to do that?
Yeah, where are you at now? Okay. Yeah, come on down. All right, clear. Good stuff.
Who's next? Drink! Don't shake your head, no.
Okay, so we're seeing here, we saw just a moment ago a child throwing up. Looked like from drinking all that water. The voice, one of the voices that we did hear on there, some are questioning whether that was Keith Sarge Gibbs's voice. Some say it sounds like him. I've spoken with him over the phone, and he has said that he's not sure if that's his voice or not, and he is actually questioning the validity of whether he was there or not. From conversations I've had with him. These are videos on the Pasadena Star News website that anyone can see. The Star News did have the exclusive on this, and there you see the child on their website in that video crying. You can tell that the child is definitely agitated there at that point, and it just looks like they're on top of him, really. Now he's crumbled to the ground there, and the question comes up, was one of those folks in the video, Calvin McFarland, who we told you about earlier. A lot of the questions that are being asked include, where was this? When was it? Was it during the time when Calvin McFarland was working for Keith Sarge Gibbs's community base? And so we've shown the videos, Daniel, and I'm wondering if you know. I mean, where was it? Was this Sarge's place? We did hear what sounded to be his voice. On the first video. Was this Keith Sarge Gibbs's, or was it not?
Are you asking about the voice?
Well, the
or
videos.
Are you asking about,
is it the program?
I have been in the field on 2 occasions with Sarge's community base. There's no way from that video, and it being an undated video, there's no way I can comment on when or where that video was shot. It was difficult to impossible, at least with my viewing of the video, to tell even who the people were. Perhaps the young lady who was initially in there with the child with the tire, if you knew who that person was. I don't. So I can't really comment on the video. That's the first time that I've viewed it.
Okay. And there was a question about Keith Sarge Gibbs's voice, so being on there, and he has kind of said to me that he's not sure if that was doctored or not. If it was, and if this is Sarge's community base, how do you proceed as a board member if that was him? Police are investigating this. Well, I should say that they are looking at the video to see what steps to take next. They're not investigating any particular person at this point. They're just looking to see what charges, if any, should be filed with the DA's office. How do you proceed if that's Sarge's community base?
Well, again, I'll go back to my earlier comment about the scrutiny that this particular situation is going to bring to bear on Sarge's community base. We welcome that scrutiny. We know exactly how the young people and the families who are enrolled in our program are being treated. We know the level of respect that they're treated with. Yes, they are subjected to reasonable discipline because that is one of the components from these children's lives that's a common denominator that's missing from their lives. And it's not only discipline applied to the young people, it's discipline applied in a respectful, loving, caring way. I've seen that firsthand. In addition to that, it's support provided to the parents, in many cases single parents. It is tools and resources that are given to them through our parent program, which runs concurrently with the boot camps and provides those parents with tools for continuing to train up their children in a positive way, to continue to give them a better chance at succeeding in life, at succeeding in society.
So when you saw that video, what was your reaction? Did that seem abusive to you?
The scenes that I saw, first of all, are not indicative of the activities that occur at Sarge's community base.
So you've never seen anything like that happen?
No, ma'am. I have never seen anything like that.
And to you, that was overboard, or?
Well, my own personal reaction to what I just saw was that, yes, I would characterize that as overboard.
So,
I would also characterize it, by the way, I'm sorry to interrupt you,
please.
but I would also characterize it as counterproductive. If that same scenario were played out in a home, what would we call it? If it were played out in a school, a public or private school, what would we call it? The purpose for Sarge's community base, the purpose for the programs, the purpose for the parent program is to build people up, not to tear them down. It's to strengthen them. It's to strengthen their outlook on life, their family relationships, their relationships with their parents. It is not designed to tear them down.
Are police talking to Sarge's community base right now?
To my knowledge, neither the operational people in the organization nor the board of directors have been contacted by law enforcement, to my knowledge.
Okay. When I did talk with police today, they said that they are not investigating a particular person at this point, just looking at the video to figure out exactly who's in it and what's going to happen. And they are asking anybody with more information to go ahead and call the Pasadena Police Department, I suppose, in trying to track down who those folks were in the video. How involved are the board members? I mean, is it just regular monthly meetings, or are you guys out there and volunteering and helping and that kind of thing too?
I'm not aware that any of the board members volunteer in the field. I presume that you mean volunteer in the field.
Yeah.
I'm not aware that any of the board members volunteer in the field. The board members are present, like many board of directors members, are there to oversee how the organization is run, how the activities are fitting with the mission, do fundraising, which of course is critical. I'm not aware that any of the board members volunteer in the field. We are frequently invited and frequently guests in the field because Sarge encourages us to do that. I was in the field this Saturday for a little while.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Daniel Barth, for being here with us, board member of Sarge's Community Base and Commit to Achieve program. And that is it for this special edition of CCN Crown City News. We've got a bunch of stories on crowncitynews.com. Please go there and check them out. We'll have more posted by tonight, actually, also. Thank you to our sponsors. Thanks to our CCN crew. This show is just not possible without you. And thank you for watching CCN Crown City News. Join us each week as we cover the news in Pasadena and the San Gabriel Valley. For all of us here, I'm Tami DeVine. Have a great week.